I'm Kim Rose, and I'm 1 in 10. My PCOS journey the start of it is a funny one because how I learned about PCOS, my partner at the time actually suggested I check with my doctor because the symptoms I complained about, to his knowledge, were similar to PCOS symptoms. Now, before him sharing that, I knew nothing about PCOS. I did not know what PCOS meant. I did not know what the common symptoms were. I had no clue what PCOS was. When I was diagnosed with PCOS, I was, to be honest, relieved. Being able to put a name to what I was experiencing allowed me to feel some sort of relief. So I'd say I felt relief the first time I heard. I was diagnosed with PCOS in July 2019. Yes, just recently. And the symptoms I experienced was stubborn weight gain. I could not for the life of me get the weight off. And I had excess hair in places I did not want them. Don't want them, but they're there. I had acne issues, still in the process of taking care of that. Hormonal imbalance, and just painful, extremely painful periods. The most frustrating PCOS symptom I've experienced, I mean, aside from the extremely painful periods, nothing can compare to that, is the weight gain. I think I've said this a lot, but the weight gain was very frustrating for 2 to 3 years, not understanding where this weight came from, how to get rid of it. Nothing I tried worked. Exercises didn't seem to work. Diet plans did not work. So it was just a struggle because people generally don't understand why someone may gain weight so rapidly. And so the first question is, what are we, you get fatty? Or I can remember going back to my hometown and a lot of the questions I got asked, as if it was a greeting as well. Oh, you get so fat. And it really triggered me because I, at that point, understood why I gained the weight. But how do I, or why do I need to even explain that my weight gain was as a result of a syndrome? PCOS has affected my mental health in the sense that I am also living with generalized anxiety disorder, and one of my biggest triggers is health. So when I think about whether I'm healthy, whether I will be able to have children because that's something I want eventually, and with PCOS, there is a big question mark around whether I will actually be able to have a child. So I'd say it definitely does affect my mental health because it's a lingering thought about, whether I'll be okay and fertility. Before my diagnosis, I had no knowledge of PCOS. I didn't know anyone who had PCOS. But since my diagnosis, I've met a number of persons who have opened up about their diagnosis, even friends, and I did not know that before. So I would say, yes, I do know a lot of women, and also being vocal about my experience has somewhat attracted a lot of women who are also living with PCOS. And that has led me to be, I'm more passionate about raising awareness around PCOS and just helping other women to understand that they're not alone. We're here with you. As it relates to my treatment, thankfully, when I was first diagnosed, I did ask my doctor not to put me on any medication. If I can change, make lifestyle changes, whether it be exercise, diet, take supplements, whatever it is that I could do. I wanted to try those out before. But for me, medication would have been the last resort. And thankfully, to this point, I have not had to. I don't have to take any medication. So no, I have not had any experience with medications. So my treatment for PCOS includes exercise, as simple as yoga, doing very simple workout, because I find that excessive workout, I get extremely tired and it sort of defeats the purpose. So I do very light workout. I walk when I can. Yoga, like I say. Meditation helps because, again, I am living with an anxiety disorder. So being in a healthy frame of mind is also important. So meditation, eating right. I have recently started going green, even greener. So I'm having a lot of veggies and just trying to balance my plate as best as possible. And I find that even though before my diagnosis, I struggled with, figuring out how to make exercise and diet and all of that work, I've seen changes recently. I've even shed a few pounds. So my treatment would be more so lifestyle changes. As it relates to information on PCOS, I have relied on my doctor to provide information for me. But outside of that, the internet, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind persons not to self-diagnose, number one, and to rely on professionals to provide accurate information, ask all the questions. But sadly, I rely on the internet to provide me with information on how to cope, through lifestyle changes, and to also find a community of women who are having their own experiences and what we can learn from each other. So internet is my go-to place for information. Being a part of a community is very important. And I think a lot of women with PCOS will say the same thing, because we find that it's through these support groups and whatever communities available to us that we're able to really learn more and understand how to navigate this new experience for some of us. So support groups are very important, and I myself have sought recently to initiate support group sessions for women with PCOS, including an information session as well with professionals who are able to provide reliable information to help us on this journey. The most surprising fact I've learned about PCOS is the fact that not all women with PCOS have cysts. So when I was diagnosed, I would have done the X-ray, the ultrasound, the blood test, the whole thing. And cysts were found. And a couple months later, I did the same ultrasound, X-ray, all of that, and they disappeared. And the likelihood that they reappear, it's highly likely. So the most surprising fact I'd say is, just the way in which the cysts work. Sometimes they're hair, sometimes they're not hair. And some women may not have any cysts present. So it's hard to kind of accept, okay, how do I have PCOS without the cysts? But I guess it's possible. My advice to women who have PCOS or think they may have PCOS is to find reliable sources for your information. During my journey, I found a lot of information out there. There's a lot. You seek it, you will find it. But I've come to also realize that not everything is absolute truth. So it's important to go to reliable sources to confirm whether or not this is so. Because sometimes we read things and we accept them as truth and then them stress we out, really stress we out. So rely on professionals as much as possible for your information. And if you think you may have PCOS, again, just check a professional, ask your doctor, tell them the reasons why you think you may have PCOS, what you think the symptoms you're experiencing are. And also, to bust a myth, weight gain is not a must with PCOS, because I know many women who have been diagnosed who have not struggled with weight as much as myself or many other women do. So if you think you're experiencing some symptoms but not the weight gain, still check it out. Still check it out.